Imagine waking up every day, not to a buzzing alarm clock, but to the horrifying realization that your entire career involves wading waist-deep into slimy, leech-infested swamps. Welcome to your life as a medieval leech collector, a job so bizarre and miserable, you might start questioning your past life choices. But hey, somebody's got to do it, right? As a baby, you probably didn't have a clue about your fate. Your parents were thrilled, cooing over you like any other medieval baby, blissfully unaware that you would one day grow up to become a human buffet for bloodsucking worms. While other kids were dreaming of becoming knights or merchants, your destiny was sealed with the family trade. Leeches, glorious leeches. Fast forward a few years and there you are, a small, wide-eyed toddler playing near the swampy edge of the village. "Don't go too close, dear. You'll get bitten," your mother would warn. But little did she know, your entire future involved getting bitten. A lot. Now, as a teenager, your responsibilities grew. You were no longer just the kid who brought the buckets. You were in the thick of it, literally. Swamps, rivers, ponds. Wherever leeches thrived, you were there, standing in murky water, letting the little bloodsuckers latch onto your legs like medieval fashion accessories. Every day was a new adventure of discomfort, itching, and a deep existential crisis. Oh, and the smell. Let's talk about the smell. Medieval hygiene wasn't exactly top-notch, and spending hours in swamp water didn't help. You didn't just smell bad, you carried an odor so pungent that even the local pigs kept their distance. Dating? Forget about it. No medieval maiden was interested in a guy who constantly smelled like rotting fish and swamp goo. Of course, let's not forget the competition. Other leech collectors were constantly trying to steal the best spots. Some even resorted to sabotage, sneaking into your turf and releasing buckets of frogs, your natural enemies, who would happily snack on your precious leech harvest. And when winter hit, oh boy, standing in ice-cold water trying to lure leeches felt more like medieval torture than a career. But it wasn't all bad. Occasionally, you'd get a good haul and sell your leeches to the local barber surgeons for a decent price. These guys believed leeches could cure everything: headaches, fevers, and even a broken heart. They had no idea what they were doing, but hey, who were you to argue? The demand was steady, which meant job security, even if your job involved involuntary blood donations every single day. Your friends? Well, let's just say your circle was unique. Other collectors, swamp guides, and the occasional village idiot who thought drinking leech-infested water would boost his health. You all shared stories of the worst bites, the weirdest customers, and the occasional runaway leech that found its way into very unfortunate places. Then came the worst day of your career. Remember when you thought standing still for hours waiting for leeches was bad? Try falling face first into the swamp during peak leech season. It was like an all-you-can-eat buffet, except you were the buffet. The aftermath? Let's just say you needed to rethink some life choices. As you grew older, you found ways to make the job more tolerable. You invented the first leech-resistant clothing, which was basically just an old sack stuffed with hay. It didn't work, but it made you feel innovative. You started training new apprentices, warning them of the horrors that awaited, and silently enjoying their misery. Retirement was a sweet dream, but who were you kidding? There was no retirement plan in leech collecting. You'd either do it until your legs gave out or until the local lord found something even weirder for you to do, like being a royal dung collector. You tried to diversify your skills, maybe sell the leeches as exotic pets? No luck. People weren't keen on having bloodthirsty worms in their homes. You even attempted to market leech-based beauty treatments. But let's be honest, nobody wanted to rub slimy parasites on their faces in the name of skincare. And the injuries, not just from the leeches, but from the swamps themselves. You'd slip on moss, trip over hidden logs, and once you even got into a wrestling match with an overly aggressive heron that mistook you for lunch. And don't even get started on the infections. Let's just say medieval medicine wasn't exactly cutting edge. One time you got so many leeches stuck on you that your entire leg turned into what could only be described as a leech sock. You had to hobble back to the village while kids pointed and screamed, and the blacksmith laughed so hard he almost dropped his hammer. On market days, you set up your leech stall next to the baker, which was a terrible idea. The smell of fresh bread mixed with swamp goo didn't exactly draw the crowds. People would approach, intrigued, then back away slowly when they saw your arms covered in bite marks and your face that screamed, "I haven't slept in 3 days." There were some perks, though. Every now and then, you'd get a rich nobleman who swore by your leeches and paid you handsomely for a bucketful. You briefly entertained the idea of becoming a high-end leech supplier, but then remembered that you're still standing waist-deep in a bog. Of course, there were superstitions. Some villagers believed your leeches could predict the weather or bring good luck. And you leaned into it. You started making up wild claims just to see what people would believe. Rub a leech on your forehead and you'll have good fortune for a year. Surprisingly, some actually bought into it. As the years passed, you started mentoring the next generation of unfortunate souls. You shared survival tips, like how to remove a leech without losing too much dignity, and the best ways to fake enthusiasm when selling your slimy wares. In the end, your life was a series of bites, bizarre encounters, and an undying sense of perseverance. Despite the misery, you couldn't help but feel a strange pride in your work. Sure, it was gross, but it was your gross. And at least you never had to deal with office politics or endless meetings. And there you have it, a life filled with bites, bad smells, and the occasional sense of accomplishment. So next time you think your job sucks, just be glad you're not wading through a swamp with a bucket full of bloodsuckers. Count your blessings and stay away from medieval career paths.